We have ourselves a new green line test, and it's glorious. This test comes to us from the same man that birthed the green line test, Rivellino. There's an R-rated term for this test, but we're going to keep it PG-13 and call it the box test. It's a pretty simple test as couples take photos, and if the woman in the relationship, this is for heterosexual relationships, if her box is pointed towards her man, the box is delivered. However, if the box is pointed not towards her man, and instead towards the world, that box is still in transit and you don't know where it's going to be delivered. When a couple passes the box test, they will be happy. But when they fail it, the side effects are significant. Here's another example. Paul and Vanessa are happy. Fail. Find themselves wanting more. The box.
Now, I know some people will look at this picture of Will and Jada and think, yo, no, there has most certainly been times where Jada has had her box faced towards Will. But just like in this picture here, who's doing the leaning? Who's leaning in? Just like in this picture here, yeah, the box may be faced towards Will, but Will is the one doing the leaning in. And even in this shot here, the box faced the world, but Will is leaning in. Yo, this might have been peak Jada. She was looking good right here, boy, I tell you. Another example, box face towards Will, but Will doing the leaning. If anything, she's kind of pulling back a bit. Let's break that down a bit more. Example A right here. You see her head is leaning away from him. He's doing more of the smiling. She has a sour, bitter face. She is not engaging with him. She is not touching him. He's leaning in towards her. Her box is facing the world. His crotch is facing her. Now, this one right here can be a little confusing, but there are a few little key things here that I want to point out. All right, you see this right here says that his hand should be on her shoulder when he could just as well have his hand on her lower waist or her bum, right? Now, she is leaning away from him while he is leaning into her, right? He got a good stance as far as, you know, now he got a good stance as far as the fact that he doesn't have his crotch turned toward her. And it says tame twat right here, kind of insinuating the fact that because she has her hand covering her private region, you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, this belongs to him. But really, I think it's because of this bag that she's holding. She's more so trying to show it off by placing it in front of her, right? It says that even his hair is leaning towards her, smiling more than her. A lot of this could mean that she could be more of the alpha in the relationship while he is more on the submissive end. Y'all think that's true of Mesa in his relationship? Some people even put it on height difference that, you know what, maybe because the man is taller, it's a lot easier for him to lean into his woman. It's just almost a natural thing for him to do because she's lower to the ground and shorter, almost like what he would have to do if he were to lean over to kiss her. No. You standing in the picture as a man, you stand tall. Your woman leans into you. It makes more sense that her being shorter, she would lean into you like she would be placing her head on your arm, chest, or shoulder if y'all were taking a picture, just like what's happening here. You see this? No matter the gap in the years, this man is still holding his frame and his wife is still leaning into him. All these years later, ain't no change. See that she got her arm in his jacket. He got his hand on her butt. He was like, hey, this is my butt. And where her crotch is facing? Her crotch is facing him, right? This is a perfect example of how a picture should be taken, right? This is a bit more of a respectful shot than this one is here. You know, this is the kids, this is the youth of today. But this right here, a grown adult relationship. See, this man got his hand wrapped around his woman's shoulder, embracing her, bringing her in tight. Her crotch is facing him. They both got big old happy smiles on their face. This is a good relationship. At least we would hope so. We just throwing these two in here for reference because we know how this went down. If you watch the documentary, we know who had the power in that relationship, and we know who was along for the ride no matter what the ride was. She did everything this man said, the good and the bad. It seemed like there was a whole lot more bad than there was good. Anyway, y'all leave your thoughts, comments, and opinions down below. Do you think the green line and the crotch test is real, or you think it's a load of BS? Comment down below. I want to hear from you. Anyway, I'm going to catch y'all in the next one. See ya.
Hug me for the camera.
both seeing us. Hug me for the camera. Oh, you passed. You're pointing the box at me, not the world.
Oh, I never do that. That's gross.
This means your box is still in transit. This means
My
your
box is in transit?
Yeah. It's traveling out there.
Out there?
Yeah. This. See?
No, my box belongs right here.
See?
What it means. Green line test was originally created by Rivellino on Twitter. It essentially is showing who is pulling who in a relationship, like who wears the pants. This body language test is also a relationship test. It shows whose access is straight and whose is being pulled in. As we can see here, Kim is straight and she is pulling, not literally, but in the relationship, pulling Pete in. This test can be done on anybody. As we can see here, Harry is leaning in, Meghan is straight. Here they are here. Prince Harry leaning in, even though he's the prince, and then Meghan is straight. This couple So I'm reading the Tennessee cop story, right? And I see this photo. I mean, guys, how many more of these do I have to do for you before you get it? If you lean in, you're taking the risk that your girl's going to be getting the community service award, all right? And she ain't getting it for the reason you wanted to get it. It's not because she's helping the community out with dogs, like helping the little puppies. Nah. She's helping out some different kind of dogs, if you know what I mean.
Damn. He don't got a clue in the world.
NBA draft is come and gone. Now it's time to do the green line test on the 58 picks of the NBA draft to determine their future in the league. Before we begin, I do want to mention that just 5% of NBA draft picks, that's 3 out of 58 picks, posted a photo on their Instagram with their girlfriends. You can draw your own conclusions about that. One of the first picks of the night, Jaden Ivey, number 4 from Purdue, who went to the Detroit Pistons. He passes the green line test with flying colors. Here we see him after he was picked. Great dress on his girlfriend, Caitlin. Green line test is passed. She's even leaning in a little bit. Next up, Walker Kessler from Auburn. I forget who drafted him, but this is the green line test to a T. He passes it with flying colors, straight up and down. She's leaning in. This is how you take a photo. Second round pick, Gabriel Procida to the Blazers, has a tendency to lean in. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, he's tall, he has to lean in. I've debunked that myth many times before. Hopefully, the Blazers will help with his development, as he has a lot of work to do.